through the sand like a thought in disguise. The scarab spins truth where the cosmos collide. Energy whispers, it never says goodbye. The Beatles crawl, the Beatles rise.
Go to AmericanHealer.website now. Get the tools for health and inspiration the way God intended.
Sort of burst the chaos, yet the chaos rise. My name Beatles, 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 over and over. Spinning the world in the grip of their shoulders. Beatles, 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 under and over. Rolling through time till the blackness is sober. The heat fades lower, the order begins. The stillness so perfect, it hums from within. The void sings softly, entropy takes a bow. In the shadow of silence, the scarab knows how. The second law is dancing, feeding life through decay. The third law holds the promise that the stillness will stay. Beatles, 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 under and over, rolling through time till the blackness is sober.
Go to AmericanHealer.website now. Get the tools for health and inspiration the way God intended.
All right, we in here. So listen, unfortunately, gang. Yeah, peace to the family, man. Peace to the family. But unfortunately, we can't have our regularly scheduled program. Like, I know I'm more sad than y'all are about this. Yeah, I'm more sad than y'all are about this. We've been trying to get this show to have a special show, Will and I, but we having a lot of snow, and Philly is having a lot of snow. Jersey's having a lot of snow, and when you see the show, when we actually do it, it's going to look relatively simple, but it's actually a coordinated effort between Detroit, Philly, and Jersey. You know what I'm saying? So the weather is just not really allowing us to do what we want to do. That being said, we are going to talk about a few things because y'all are here, right? Y'all are here. We here. So we're going to have a conversation and warm up. We're going to warm up the topic. So what we wanted to do tonight was have a two-part conversation, right? We wanted to have a two-part conversation about fake meat, right? So obviously I'm going to be here in Jed School, right? And we were going to have Chef Will and one of our partners with him while he goes on location into, maybe a market, supermarket, farmer's market, wherever, maybe just a nice high quality supermarket where we can actually go through their freezers. That was the plan. That was the plan, to go through their freezers and have a discussion about the fake meats. Mushrooms over fake meats. Well, mushrooms Mushrooms is becoming a fake meat product, right? Mushrooms is becoming a fake meat product. And so that has to be part of our discussion. Um, not necessarily mushrooms per se, but just the let me write this down as a note to myself. Repackaging veggies. Right? Because that becomes one of the issues when dealing with our veggies. And I had mad stuff planned for this weekend. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my guy Harwin. You know what I'm saying? Mr. Lungs was supposed to pop out, but I couldn't catch up with Mr. Lungs. That was more my fault than his. We had to reschedule Harwin show. And then we also had to obviously be rescheduling Will and I show as well. So this weekend just didn't turn out well in terms of programming, but I was definitely planning on flooding y'all with information. Shout out to Kev for reposting the stream. We always appreciate that. But yeah, I was definitely planning on flooding y'all with a variety of information this weekend. So it's cool. It'll just be a big week. We'll just have a big week coming up. I will be working Mr. Lungs to get Mr. Lungs back. In fact, I'm going to text him right now. Again. So text him again. But yeah, so we'll just have a big week. We'll have all of that stuff coming for you this week. But that's the thing. That's one of the topics of discussion when it comes to fake meat, right? If we're taking soy, right? If we're taking soy and we're turning soy into bacon, right? We're turning soy into steak. We're turning soy into burgers. We're turning soy into chicken, right? Or we're taking mushrooms and we're turning mushrooms into steak, into chicken, into bacon, into beef. What else is required to turn the mushroom in a sense of processing into those items, right? Now, Will can offer a level of expertise that I can't necessarily offer in terms of doing it in your kitchen, right? Doing it in your kitchen is vastly different. So I know a lot of people that use, that go and get the raw wheat gluten. They just get the raw wheat gluten themselves, and or the Satan, the Satan. I love the fact that wheat gluten is called Satan. That is forever going to be a classic, right? But they go get the raw wheat gluten themselves and they do their thing with it in their kitchen, turn it into whatever. Or people get the mushrooms and they put it in the food processor and they do their thing. Having firsthand experience with a bunch of chefs over the past couple of decades, right? Whether that's, Abundance Child in Delaware, Gabby in Chicago, or just whoever it is, I got to see, beyond what I do in my kitchen. Y'all know we used to do our messy kitchen videos, and then we used to do our vegan baby, dishes and stuff like that. But seeing commercial, chefs, full-time culinary, doing their thing in the kitchen, you know, and Chase is developing. I don't know what Chase is going to do with his talent, but Chase is, you know, who knows? Chase might become a chef. Would I be mad as hell if he traded his future in medicine for culinary arts? Not really. Not really. I would support it full 100%. You know what I'm saying? Those are his two things that he's interested in outside of being the next Steph Curry or LeBron. You know, he wants to be in medicine or he wants to be in food. For me, they both are the same thing, being in medicine or food. So it wouldn't make me any difference. Oh, you just went crazy. Regina be going crazy sometime. That's wow. Hey, Regina, you just went wow with the human remains is in the Beyond Burgers. That's crazy. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. I do know how a rumor like that could be started. I know how, I know how that can be started because they're, you know, I'm not going to say it's a lie because I don't know it to be true. I don't know it to be false, right? But I do know that over the years, there's definitely human remains. I'm going to say remains because remains adds a spookiness, like a whole nother level of, you know, spookiness to it. But there is human blood, human bones, human flesh that gets into the actual meat supply. Sure. You know what I'm saying? Like if you eat beef and all that, there's definitely human blood and stuff like that that often, you know, I'm not even going to say contaminates the meat supply. It just goes in there. It's part of the, you know, it's part of the meat. You know what I'm saying? That's just what it is. Think about that. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you running a meat supply business and you processing like literally hundreds or thousands of pounds of meat, and one of your workers cuts their hand and a little blood shoot in there, or a little, you know, they might cut off the tip of their finger or something and get in there. You ain't getting ready to throw away no 5,000-10,000 pounds of meat because a little blood got shot in there. You ain't that ain't even part of the protocol. That's acceptable. You know, that's acceptable. That's cool. You know what I'm saying? Or maybe some mice or some rats might get grounded up in the meat. Yeah, that's acceptable. Now, the reason why I'm saying that is because Beyond, Impossible, and all of these huge mega companies, they're using the same processing facilities. They're using the same processing facilities. And so all of the same things are possible, right? I don't know if it's as violent, right? Because it's not coming from an animal. So it's not like they got to cut the cow and grind up a cow and all that. It's kind of just mix. So I don't know how much knives and sharp equipment and things like that are in a Beyond facility. But, you know, I know the money dynamics are similar. You know, the money dynamics are similar. If anything, the Beyond and Impossible, those things are probably more expensive per pound at cost for the producer, you know, for the company. So the stakes might even be higher. They might not even be able to play around either with the, you know, like pulling a whole bunch because somebody got cut and a little blood went into the, you know what I'm saying? Like, but I know for sure the meat companies, there's all kind of stuff that goes into the meat. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, if you from the hood, I'm gonna be honest, all kind of stuff, you done already ate all kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Now, if you from the suburbs, or you from the country or whatever, you know, More power to you. Your parents did a great job, or their parents, or somebody, whoever made the sacrifice to make sure y'all was raised outside of the ghetto, or whatever the case may be. But if you was raised in the hood, oh yeah, you probably ate a few roaches without knowing it, or some mice droppings without knowing it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you definitely probably ate a few items. Yeah, it was definitely probably some droppings, some roach droppings or something in the cereal box. You ain't even know. You just poured that cereal in the milk in there and went and got busy. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? You ain't even know. You know what I'm saying? They cloned Tyrone, Soylent Green. Nah, this ain't that. This ain't Soylent Green. No. This ain't Soylent Green. I know, who be saying that. This ain't Soylent Green. The Soylent Green was just 100% pure bodies. Soylent Green was pure bodies. You know what I'm saying? This, I think our meat supply is relatively, it's just a matter of business. I think and then also you got to remember these facilities have rodents and things like that. So in the packaging, things get put into the packaging. You know what I'm saying? Like this rat poop and all that goes into the packaging of the meat. So when you get your ground meat, your ground turkey, your ground beef, and you cook it up, it's usually a little bit of rat poop is mixed in. You can't tell when you get it. You can't tell when you make it. You know what I'm saying? That's just a part of the warning, that your mom or whoever taught you how to cook, when they tell you, hey, make sure that's well done. Right? A part of that make sure that's well done is not just for the taste. Like, make sure everything dead in there. That's what make sure you done fried. Yeah, make sure that thing cleaned up. We sterilizing by fire. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. We sterilizing by fire. Beyond's new drink? I don't know about their new drink. So you just put me on to something. I have no idea about Beyond's new drink. Let's look up Beyond's new drink right now. Unless you trolling. Oh, wow. Okay. Talk heavy. Oh, we definitely got to have that conversation. What? Yeah, we definitely got to have that conversation. The new Beyond drink. That's crazy. Yeah, right here it's in the test kitchen, so it ain't really it doesn't look like it's hit stores yet. So it looks like you are way ahead the learning curve. Yeah, it looks like you are way ahead the learning curve. Right? Yeah. Interesting. So what are they doing? Can we get some information on it? View more. Okay. Beyond Immerse is more than a protein drink. It's plant protein, fiber, antioxidants, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Let's get to this though. Oh, that's okay. Here we go. Carbonated water. Fair enough. Hydrolyzed pea protein, tapioca fiber, tartric acid, natural flavors. Okay, so they trolling a little bit. With natural flavors. So we don't know what that means. We don't know what that means. Vegetable juice color is definitely respectable. I like that. I like this. I like the fact that they're using vegetable juice color, which means that they don't want to drop a product and then have to take it off the shelf or relaunch it for different places. So by them using vegetable color instead of any fake outs, they pretty much can sell this anywhere. But yeah, so I don't see anything crazy except for the natural flavors, and I ain't even too mad about the tapioca, right? They're running with the pea protein. It's not bad. It's not bad yet. So far from what I see here, it's not crazy. Yeah, so far from what I see here, it's not crazy. I see they're advertising the fiber, though. They're advertising the fiber, right? And they're advertising. That's interesting. This is an interesting combination here. 20 grams of protein, 7 grams of fiber, and only 100 calories. That is very interesting. Yeah, that is very interesting. Yeah, that is very interesting. That is very, very interesting. Because, okay, see, it's already, yeah, it's getting a little crazy, but who knows what they got going on? Who knows what they got going on? We're going to add that to the list. We're going to add that to the list to discuss with Will. We're going to discuss it with Will. Yeah, Beyond Immersion is what it's called, right? Beyond Immersion. Let's make sure we know what we got going on here. What is this thing here? Yeah, Beyond Immerse. Okay, Immerse. Yeah, we're gonna see what Will think about it. But good looking on that one. Good looking on that one, because that's kind of interesting already, right? The fact that it's only, remember, we did our numbers. You see, y'all got to take our classwork and bring it into your mind for regular life, right? Melanin is anabolic class. We spent a lot of time talking about calories, right? And so protein is technically supposed to be 1 gram of protein, 4 calories. So the fact that there's 20 grams of protein, we should already see that there's a minimum, right, of 80 calories. Then there's 7 grams of fiber. Now, fiber can show up in a wide variety of ways in terms of calories. Fiber can be anywhere from 1 calorie to 4 calories. Fiber is wild, right? But then there has to be some sweetener and some carbohydrates in there because it's plant. And they got tapioca in there. Well, that's the fiber. They're counting that as fiber. I don't know how they came up with that number. That's interesting. That's an interesting number. To have 20 grams of protein and only 100 calories that's interesting. So they'll also be marketing that for weight loss diets and some other things. That's going to be interesting to see how that goes down. Yeah, no, you definitely are not bugging. You are definitely not bugging. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You're definitely not bugging. Bruh, this is what we was talking about on Comedicine the other night. That natural flavor, that natural flavor is the cheat code. So we don't get to know what that is. Yeah, we just don't get to know what that is. You know what I'm saying? So that's whatever that's going to be. But yeah, so when we do go live with Will, we will be talking about, because I had to do a little homework. It's been a while since, I'm gonna be honest. One of the reasons why you want to do your studies and figure out stuff and all that, right? About your life and your body and get your, get your thing together is so that you create a rhythm, right? Rhythm is the parent of frequency, right? These are some of the things we discuss in the new book, right? Right? So make sure y'all have the new book, right? The placebo frequency book, right? The monk manual. Make sure y'all have the monk manual, right? But rhythm is the parent of frequency, right? Because your rhythm determines how you moving, right? And the math of how you moving is your frequency, right? The math of how you moving is your frequency. And so once you figure out what you're doing, then you pretty much got your blueprint. So when I go to the supermarket, I usually get the same stuff over and over and over again. Like, you know what I'm saying? We have little variation here and there, but we eat the same stuff all the time. So it's been a while, since I really looked at the landscape, and then also add to it that, my team, Will and the team, those are my Philly guys, right? And so I haven't been in Philly in a long time. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know what's in the Philly supermarket right now. So I had to really because getting ready to have the discussion, I had to get familiar with what's in the Philly supermarket, because we go in the freezer section, he could pull out anything, right? And come to find out, one of our favorite places to eat, like one of the things that made Philly a delight for me, there was a pizza shop off of South Street. And this was one of the craziest things I had ever experienced in my life. Craziest, right? They had a full-blown vegan pizza shop in Philly. And everybody ate there, not just vegans. Everybody ate there because the food was just delicious. But it was a vegan pizza shop, right? I had never seen nothing like that. Until I went there, I didn't even have a concept of that. Like, I had maybe imaginary ideas like, yo, this would be dope if they had a vegan this or vegan. But at the time in New York, vegan, this is like 20 years ago, mind you, 15 years ago. So vegan it's not as commercial. We launched the commercial side of it. Our drive on social media, you know what I'm saying? We created that. So at the time, a lot of products don't even exist, let alone like whole places, you know what I'm saying? Like, so in New York, it was pretty much nothing unless you went way downtown, you know what I'm saying? And then you could find a place and they might also have vegan stuff there, but it wasn't like no crazy spot like this. And when I moved to Philly, that's when Philly opened up my eyes, because when I went to Philly, they had a pizza shop. You know what I'm saying? They had a Chinese restaurant. Both of these places off South Street. So I fell in love with South Street immediately, right? They had a Chinese restaurant where everything on the menu was vegan. Every item, every single item you could think of in a Chinese restaurant, vegan. You know what I'm saying? Then they had the pizza shop, and these are like 6 blocks apart. You know, they had Blackbird. Blackbird is the pizza, and you can go in there. And when I say the whole pizza shop, I mean everything you get in the pizza shop. The gyros, right? Or gyros, however you pronounce that. Everything. Pepperoni, sausage, everything you could think of. They have it in there. They didn't sell any meat products. But they had a full pizza shop, you know what I'm saying? And everything looked the way it was supposed to. So you got the gyro spinning, like it's real lamb meat, you know what I'm saying? It's spinning on the thing with the stick and all that. Like, it was crazy. So, Philly made it easy, to transition your diet. I don't know what's going on there lately. So when we planning out the show, you know, I'm like, okay, let me go online and get familiar. And first thing I notice is this pizza shop. The pizza shop done closed down, but they done turned their food into products, so they're in supermarkets now. So that was crazy. Blackbird is now in the supermarket. You know what I'm saying? So, but anyway, it was a bunch of new brands. One brand I can't wait to try. I'm gonna try to find them here or maybe order some of their stuff on the internet. It's called Jack and Annie's. Jack and Annie's. I knew somebody was going to do it because we was promoting it hard back in the days, and the products didn't exist. And I knew somebody was going to do it. We made so many different $1 million ideas and $1 billion ideas that we just didn't have the money or funding to capitalize on. It's crazy. But it's a company called Jack and Annie's. And so what Jack and Annie's does is they use the traditional ingredients like soy and wheat and some of those things in making fake meat, but they also, you know, their main base is jackfruit. So they use the jackfruit as their main base, and they add a little bit of soy, a little bit of wheat gluten and stuff like that for texture, depending on the product. But their main thing is jackfruit. So yeah, there's Jack and Annie's. They're new. Blackbird is new. You still have Q-corn. You still have Q-corn. People like that laboratory fungus. That laboratory fungus is popping. You know what I'm saying? So Q-corn is laboratory fungus. And I'm not even sure. I've never eaten a Q-corn product, period. I won't eat Q-corn. Q-corn is not something I'll eat, period. Not interested in that. That's the one vegan item that I'm not eating. I'll eat Morning Star or whatever. I don't care. I'm not eating Q-corn, though. Q-corn, going back to what Kyle was saying earlier. Now, Q-corn, I believe Q-corn might, I'm not saying they got dead bodies, but Q-corn, that's Soylent Green Road. Like they're going down Soylent Green Road. Q-corn is going down that road. Yeah. You gotta watch Q-corn because they do fermented fungus and then they add egg whites to it. So I'm not even sure how they getting off in the vegan market. I'm not even sure how they working with that. I'm not sure what Q-corn, how they doing their thing. I'm not even sure where they fit in. Because their product is marketed as meat replacement, but I mean it's egg whites. So, and it's not vegan. So I don't know. I don't know what Q-corn is doing. Yeah, I don't know exactly what Q-corn is doing. Now I'm telling you, listen. Regular meat is made out of, you know, it's a little people mixed into regular meat, you know, regular red meat. But I'm saying Q-corn specifically, Q-corn is hot because they're doing the fermented fungus. You know what I'm saying? They're doing the fermented fungus. And it's just like a laboratory product. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, a lot of these things are crazy. You know, Impossible is quite possibly the most dangerous of all of the vegan foods. Yeah. Because I was looking at a bunch of them. There's more new brands out there. There's a brand called Daring. There's a brand called Crave House. Who else is out there? You got Meaty. Meaty is a new brand. They're doing their thing with mushrooms. You got Omni. There's a company doing their thing with mushrooms, specifically with lion's mane. They're making meat out of lion's mane. So you know that's going to be expensive. But yeah, without going too crazy, I think Impossible is possibly the most dangerous of all of the different meat replacement kind of things, the fake meat. Chunk Steak is a new brand. I'll write that down. Let me look up Chunk Steak. I will look for Chunk Steak. I will look for Chunk Steak. We will definitely look up Chunk Steak. Let me look it up right now and see if it's a real thing. Maybe you trolling. Chunk Steak. Oh, it popped right on up. Oh, yeah. I seen this. I don't know why I didn't write this down already. I definitely seen this. Because when I was looking up the mushroom steaks, it popped up. Is this made out of mushrooms? What are they making Chunk Steak out of? Clean ingredients, blah, blah, blah. Oh, no, they're using soy. Oh, wow. This is interesting. I ain't even going, we're going to talk about Chunk Steak because they might be wilding. Chunk Steak might be wilding. Yeah. Chunk Steak might go down with Impossible. That is interesting. I was just going to say nobody else is doing this thing that Impossible is doing. And then you mentioned Chunk Steak. And right there on their ingredients, they got it. Not exactly, but I got to look it up. But I know that's what that's in there for. What am I talking about? They have an iron ingredient in their steak, right? And the iron is obviously to give it that flesh, that blood type of taste. And that's what Impossible does. Impossible uses plant blood. So I know some of y'all are aware of that because we discussed it before. They use hemoglobin from plants, right? Hemoglobin from plants. Yeah, see, matter of fact, we might as well just make this a plant genetics episode, right? we might as well make this a plant genetics episode. Because plants have hemoglobin just like people do, right? Even though usually when you use the term hemoglobin, it refers to animal blood, but plants also have hemoglobin. And what okay, Amon Rogers hit me back. Yep, Amon Rod just hit me back. Amon Rod, Mr. Lungs. Mr. Lungs just hit me back. So we will definitely, I ain't gonna say definitely, but we'll probably have a show this week. I'm on it. Right. Even if it's not Friday, even if it has to be a different day. Yep. Hell yeah. Uh-oh. I think we just locked it in. Friday morning, me and Mr. Lungs. Mr. Lungs and Dr. Kepra. Yeah. Okay, so we're going live this Friday at 10 in the morning. Wake y'all butts up. Right? But yeah, so here's what I was saying. So back in the days, right? You know, there's a handful of things that whenever it is the vegan versus the meat debate, whenever that debate pops up, there's a handful of ingredients or nutrients that meat people, you know, use to argue against vegan people, right? B12, just a few different things, but iron is one of them, right? And the conversation is not, is there iron in plants? Because there's definitely iron in plants, right? We just finished discussing the fact that there's hemoglobin in plants. But so there's definitely iron in plants, right? But I guess the thing where the meat people thought they had a leg up, right? And this is where it gets weird. I ain't even gonna say weird, but this is just the thing about being around so long doing this. You get to see how things age, right? Where somebody might have just jumped into space 3, 4, 5 years ago, they still relatively new. They still wet behind the ears, so to speak, because you haven't seen how concepts age yet. So back in the 90s and the early 2000s, having these vegan versus meat debates, when it came to the iron, all of the meat people it was always used to their advantage that iron from heme iron is what it's called, heme iron, is much more bioavailable than plant-based iron, right? And then there was some things in plants called anti-nutrients, right? And even Ali at one time, it's one of the things that me and him butted heads on. Pause, I might sound crazy, but this is one of the things that we clashed on, is he was running around using the term anti-nutrients, especially when talking about phytates. Phytates are a type of, it's a phosphorus molecule, and it does bind some minerals. So people have immaturely at the time anyway, labeled it an anti-nutrient. Fast forward some years, and journals start to release articles about the fact that heme iron is dangerous and it causes or contributes to certain diseases because of the heme iron. It's too bioavailable, and the body doesn't have a way to regulate it the way it's supposed to. So there's a lot of problems that excess heme iron in your body can cause. So now, that whole long story anyway was just say those comments, those debates didn't age well, where people were saying that, the heme iron was better for you because it's more bioavailable or whatever the case may be. Now it's known that excess heme iron is very dangerous for you, right? It's one of the reasons why, your doctor may say, cut down on the red meat, right? It's because of the heme iron. One of the reasons, because of the heme iron. And so anyway, that whole long story to say is, I think that's the reason why Impossible is the only company using heme iron from plants, right? Because it does give their products a very unique, like, animal protein taste, right? It does taste very meaty. It does taste meaty, right? And for the people who like their meat to bleed, it gives it that quality, right? So even when you grill them, you produce similar chemical toxins, right? Like when you cook them at high temperatures, because it's mimicking flesh. So to me, it was like a no-brainer. I'm like, oh, it's not going to be long before all of the companies, because they can't trademark or copyright that, because it just comes from plants. So any company could grab hemoglobin from plants and do their thing with it. You know what I'm saying? But I think the reason that they're not doing that is because of the potential danger later on. So I don't know. Nothing has come out yet. Nothing has come out yet. But I'm just saying, let me see here. Okay, so here, look at this. Right? So what I'm saying is, right? What I'm saying is, if the idea is to avoid some of these things, right? Which is the purpose for most people anyway, if they're having an Impossible Burger as opposed to a regular burger, you might be defeating the purpose with Impossible. And chunk steak might be doing the same thing. It doesn't look like they're doing the it doesn't look like they're doing the hemoglobin, but they do have added iron, right? Added iron to go along with their beet juice and their cyanocobalamin, right? Now, what they're doing, I'm gonna tell you, this is slick. Now, if you don't know, you don't know. But what they're doing is slick. So, cyanocobalamin, right? Vitamin B12, it has the same molecular structure as a blood cell. It has the same molecular structure. Maybe not exactly the same, but very similar. Let me show you. Because I think what they're doing is they're trying to recreate blood from scratch in their product. That's what that looks like. This looks like a formula for making blood, right? If I was to try to make some blood, this looks like the formula right here. Starting right here with the beet juice. Beet juice, salt, iron, and B12. This looks like they're trying to recreate blood in here. And I'm going to show you what I'm saying. Let me show you what I'm saying. Okay. Yeah, let's go over here. See this right here? This is perfect. This right here. This unit right here. This top part right here. This right here, right? This right here is very similar to your chlorophyll / red blood cell, right? In fact, let's pull up one. Let me see if I can get it. Actual comparison. That would be dope. That would be dope if we could get a comparison. Oh, this one is dope right here. Okay. This might be the closest we can get. Bam. Right? So you can see all three of them together. Right? You can see all three of them together on this page. Right here at the center here is iron. So you know this is the blood. The center right here is magnesium. So you know that this is chlorophyll. And then the center right here between all of the nitrogens is cobalt. So you know this is your B12, right? But if you look at the structure of the molecule, the way the aromatic rings are laid with the pent, with the 5-sided, this 5 and the 6-sided rings together, the way they're structured, surrounding the mineral in the middle or the element in the middle, right? This is very interesting. This is the reason why your body requires B12 in order to make blood. It's partially for this structure here, right? So that is very interesting. That is very interesting. So I'm just saying, they might be going down the same road. Now, here's the thing that I know that these companies will use in their defense. What they're going to say is these products are not made for you to eat them every day, all day. Right? So what they'll say is something like, well, if you have 1 or 2 of these steaks a week, in a healthy diet, if you have 1 or 2 of these steaks a week in a healthy diet, then you won't have any issues. You know what I'm saying? But that's not how humans work, because we're herd creatures. We all like to be individual, but the fact that we all like to be different is a part of the thing that actually makes us the same. The fact that we're all unique makes us all the same, because we're all unique. So that's the same. Right? That is a quality in a human that is the same quality in every human, that they're unique. And we like to be unique, right? Because that is an innate quality of what it means to be us. So as a herd creature, we share stuff, even stuff that we think we don't share. We share stuff. So it also makes us creatures of habit. So no matter what it is, healthy or unhealthy, the way our brains are wired, when we find something we like and that thing fits into our budget, we buy that over and over again. And usually with niche items, right? Niche items, not mainstream items. So if you're eating animal products and you decide to cut down, and so you want to try some plant-based products, or you want to switch over completely, right? You're coming in blind, right? You're coming in blind, right? Because from the time you're born, usually, right, you eat meat before you even have the ability to make a decision. Your mom or your dad is chewing up food and putting it in your mouth already chewed up. So you already getting a chewed up French fry, a chewed up piece of chicken. So by the time you even alert and awake, 6, 7, 8 years old, you're in a culture where you've been watching people cook. They cooking eggs and steaks and whatever, chickens and whatever. You're in a culture of that. So you know how to season it. You know what it's supposed to smell like. You know where to get it from. There's all kind of things we take for granted about the culture of eating. So by the time you're 20 years old, 30 years old, 40 years old, and you want to switch over, everything is from scratch, which is the reason why most people, their entryway is to just follow what they already know. They know about meat. So just fake meat is an easy way to transition out. Problem is they get stuck right there, right? So having will is a cheat code, because you'll get the way, you can continue on your road if you got stuck in the transition space. You know what I'm saying? But we're gonna do some meat dishes as well. We're gonna be cooking some chickens and fishes and all that kind of stuff, lambs and steaks and all kinds of everything. So everybody will be able to tune in and get some nutrition, because even in that space, it's not like meat is intrinsically, you know what I'm saying? Like there's a healthy way to do that as well. So we're going to definitely tap into the larger market. But with niche items, we tend to be more repetitive because we don't know the landscape. So we find something we like. The first thing we do is we keep buying it, period. Especially if it fit in the budget. You buying that again and again and again. Once you taste one thing, a fake steak, a fake chicken, whatever that reminds you of the real, it's over. When I got to Philly, they had this chicken sandwich. And oh my God. The place used to have a line wrapping around the corner outside, a line wrapped around the corner for this chicken sandwich. And it was like it had my name on it, you know what I'm saying? Because it was literally, and this is a vegan spot, vegan chicken sandwich. it was like how the Popeyes chicken sandwiches was when they finally came out. You know what I'm saying? In my mind, I thought they was copying off them people. Because they the original spot with the line wrapped around the corner. But it was so crazy because right across the street, like cat corner, was the Barnes and Nobles. And the Barnes and Nobles was huge in Philly at the time. I don't know what they did because I heard they replaced the Barnes and Nobles with a bakery or something crazy. But 4 flights, nothing but books. Right across the street, best chicken sandwich on earth. Vegan. It was crazy. That was just perfect combination for me. I could just go right there and just lose myself right there. You know what I'm saying? Like, boom, everything I need right here. But I would eat that chicken sandwich over and over and over. And people in the vegan space, when you transition, and you tend to find something to eat it over and over and over. And with Impossible and maybe even Chunk Steak, it's possible that you can overdo it. You know what I'm saying? You can overdo it. These are not plants. These are not plants. Plant-based is not plants. Plant-based does not mean plants. So that is probably going to be the big conversation. You know what I'm saying? Plant-based is not plants. Yeah, that is, you know what I'm saying? Like there's a bunch of different nuanced discussions that we got to have. And I just didn't want to cancel tonight's live. So I had to come on and talk to the family. Plus, I didn't speak to y'all all day. Yesterday, we were struggling to get a live going. So I was like, okay, we're going to go live regardless and just warm up the conversation and let the family know what's happening. You know what I'm saying? But I definitely want to have this conversation. Now, y'all know I get busy, but I really would rather have a conversation like this with somebody of Will's stature, you know, because Will's not just a chef. Will is internationally acclaimed. Like Will is one of them. Yeah, we're blessed to even, you know, Will's one of them. You know what I'm saying? Like, so he's not social media vegan chef. He's not social media. We're gonna have to do a show on that. Me and Will got to do all the fake chefs. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a lot of fake chefs. They just because we in the age of internet and people have to create content, there are people who they don't, you know, they know how to cook, or at least at their house, you know, they cook good at the house or whatever. So their content is based around cooking. So they become like a chef because the content they create for the internet is cooking, but they're not actually a chef. Nobody's actually hired them to be their private chef, or they haven't worked in a restaurant or been featured in a culinary, you know, magazine, or like they're not actual chefs. They just cook on the internet. That's not to say their food don't taste good or it's not healthy, whatever the case may be, but it's just a different level. It's just a different level, that's all. So I'm just saying we lucky to have one of them real ones, you know what I'm saying? And for some reason, they gravitate to me, right? I always get the realest of the real ones. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's a blessing. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so I got to do more research on what Chunk Steak got going on with they type of, because they going around, instead of what Impossible doing, they're just extracting the plant hemoglobin from the soy. So they're using soy plants and they're extracting the hemoglobin from the roots, right? Which typically would be garbage. You know what I'm saying? Like nobody's doing anything with the roots of soy plants, but they done found a way to make it a gold mine. So Impossible is using the roots of the soy to get their secret ingredient, right? Now this company Chunk Steak, they're getting the porphyrin ring. The porphyrin ring is the molecular structure of, you know, the pigment molecules, right? So they're getting the porphyrin ring from B12, which is interesting because that cyanocobalamin usually comes from yeast or fungus. So they're doing, and then they're bringing in the beet juice to give it some color as well as some cooking texture, when you heat the beet juice, and then because it is real deep pigment in there. So when you heat and cook beet juice, it has a certain aroma. It gives that aroma, and that's part of taste is aroma, right? Smell, your olfactory system. And then they're adding in the iron, right? So they got the molecule, the iron that's supposed to be in the molecule, and some of the pigments all separate, you know what I'm saying, as opposed to just doing the one plant hemoglobin. I don't know. That's pretty slick what they got going on. That's pretty slick what they got going on. Soy protein isolate. You know, listen, we just got to have a conversation about it, bro. We just got to have a discussion about it because I've been working on myself, right? The Monk Manual. Listen, y'all got to go get the Monk Manual because y'all need to be working on yourself, right? But I've been working on myself. And so I realized that I have a lot of arrogant tendencies. Over the years, I've been a food snob. You know, as my children are getting older, they tell me about myself, you know, and my older children forget about it. Whew. Right? So even though I don't listen to them in real time, I do like store it somewhere in the back of my mind somewhere and think about the things they say. So I'm learning. You see, we got the spirulina on the website now. You know what I'm saying? I would never have spirulina alone, right? But we have it there. You know, the chlorela's on deck, but you know, the spirulina's there as well, right? So I'm, I'm coming along. So I'm saying all that to say, because of my thoughts on soy and phytoestrogens, right? Because of my thoughts on soy and phytoestrogens, and there not really being a definitive consensus on how much phytoestrogen impacts you. You have studies that say they don't impact you at all. You have some studies that say that they totally mess up your anabolic, you know what I'm saying? Like, knowing what I know, right? With the whole country on TRTs, like, nah, I'm just not with the phytoestrogens. You know what I'm saying? Like, now, like I said, over the years, I've, you know what I'm saying? So I might eat some at your house. Yeah, I might eat some at your house. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not going to go to the supermarket and buy it. You know what I'm saying? Where at one time I might just put you on blast. Like, yo, how dare you even offer something like that to the God? What are you doing? Like, what are you trying? You trying to kill me? Now, I probably just eat it with no problem. Just splash a little hot sauce right on that joint and keep it moving. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I'm not going to buy it and put it in my fridge for the children, and we're not going to eat that every day. You know what I'm saying? So that I'm saying, laying out my disdain for phytoestrogens and soy and all of the soy universe, right? And then it was too much happening at one time. You know what I'm saying? Because we also had, at the same time that soy was being pushed really heavy on the community, you had the transgendered movements was launching, and you know, they're still doing their thing, but it's kind of calmed down to normal levels where it should be. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not against transgendered or gay people. I just think at one time it was a little crazy. You know what I'm saying? The promo was wild. The promo campaign was crazy. You know what I'm saying? So, those things all at once, you know what I'm saying? And then California, and then the rappers wearing dresses. And I don't know. It was too much for me. It was too much going on at one time. You know what I'm saying? So I don't even think soy protein isolate even has, like, I don't even think phytoestrogens are associated with the protein isolates. You know what I'm saying? But what I'm saying is, back in the days, I was just against all things soy, period. Like, nah, we're not even going to throw no dice. We're not going to even gamble with it. If I'm going to go that far, I might as well just give me some whey protein and call it a day. Period. Right? But yeah, I don't know. Soy protein isolate may be cool. I know it's a big thing in the fake meat business. It's a big thing in the fake meat business. That's the main. Those are the main ingredients. Soy protein, wheat gluten. Like those are the big two competing, like, raw materials. Mushroom is getting more popular, more and more popular. So companies are bringing that in. Pea protein is doing their thing. There's some dangers with pea protein because I think the demand for pea protein grew so fast that some chemicals, they got to tighten up a little bit with the pea protein. Fava bean is coming in now. Fava bean is coming in. So you're going to start to see a lot more fava bean. And it's the same thing, whether it's spelled with a V or a B. But fava bean is coming in more popular now. So you'll see a lot more of that. I think steak products. I think there's going to be a lot more steak products. Whether it's chopped up steak, Philly, like steak-em type of vibes, like the steak sheets for sandwiches, or just actual steaks in the vegan universe. I think it's going to be a lot more of that. But it's interesting to see how this whole mushroom thing is going to work out, because mushrooms are grown usually. So, and I don't want to listen. I'm not beefing with the mushroom people no more. Let me just say that. Mushroom people, we're not beefing. I'm about to have some mushrooms. As soon as this live ends, I'm about to go eat some mushrooms. Okay. I'm about to go have me some John. Okay. I'm about to go have me some John mushrooms as soon as this live ends. Right. The John mushrooms are already prepared. They waiting for me. Right. Those are the Haitian mushrooms. They got melanin in it. Whole nother conversation, but I'm about to have me something tonight. So just no beef with the mushroom people. Okay. That being said, because mushrooms are becoming a larger and larger thing, you do need to know about mushrooms. And a lot of the mushrooms are grown in cow shit. Right? The mushrooms are being grown in cow feces. Right? So the farmers now have a way to repurpose their poop. I'm just saying. I'm not saying all mushrooms is grown in cow poop or even poop at all. But I'm just saying, just leave that out there. You know what I'm saying? Y'all should go visit a mushroom place. Go visit a mushroom place. You can smell them from miles away. You can. What's that? Fruity Loops? Follow the nose. It always knows. You can find the mushroom joints from once you get like in a 3-4 mile radius. You can just yeah, it get wild. It gets wild. Be more specific. What made me switch up on what? The mushrooms? The mushrooms, the spirulina. I'm not really switching up. I'm just becoming less of a snob. I'm just becoming less of a snob and more of a socialite, just more personable. Yeah. Yeah. Plus, shout out to Baba Kalindi. May he rest in greatness. You know what I'm saying? Me and Baba Kalindi had mushroom wars in private. You know what I'm saying? We had private mushroom wars. And Baba Kalindi is probably single-handedly responsible for me. If you don't know who Baba Kalindi is He was a sage. I can't even say was, because if it's possible to retain your consciousness after you shed this vessel, he moving around. Period. He's still wiggling. You know what I'm saying? So Baba Kalindi was a sage. He was known all around the world for martial arts and various other things. Just gonna leave it at various other things. You know what I'm saying? But he was into magical. He was just into a lot of different things. And so he and I had a lot of conversations because he lived in Philly. I lived in Philly. We knew a bunch of the same people. He was also a Dr. Inky supporter. Like, he used to pay and come watch my lectures. That used to floor me. When I say floor me, that was crazy. Especially, I'll never forget the very first time I seen him sitting in my lecture. Imagine being a young producer and all of a sudden you look and you see that Kanye done bought a ticket to come listen to you performing. You know what I'm saying? Like something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was crazy. But yeah, he was a supporter. You know what I'm saying? Like, he would come and then we'd have private discussions because he didn't want to use his influence and go like disagree with me out loud. So we would have our private little, and he'd bring me over to the mushroom universe. He bring me over to the mushroom universe, slowly but surely. I'm still not crazy. And back in the days, I never was totally anti-mushroom. I was just like, mushrooms should be used medicinally only. That was my thing. You know what I'm saying? And people was over whooping. That's how I felt with the mushrooms. The people was over whooping, so I needed to provide balance and over whoop in the opposite direction and get people to put all them damn mushrooms down because they're not plants. So if we're going plant-based and we're being vegans, mushrooms are not plants. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're not plants. You know what I'm saying? So, but mushrooms have been on Earth for a long time, gathering information. Man, all you got to do is come to the website. We got the best bidders on Earth. AmericanHealer.website. AmericanHealer.website. We have the best bidders on Earth. Don't worry, the mushroom book is coming. You already know the mushroom book is coming. The mushroom book is coming. There's a lot of books on and en route. You know what I'm saying? Right now, I'm just working hard on this cookbook with Will first. You know what I'm saying? But we have a lot of different things that I'm not a window shopper. And because I'm not a window shopper, I don't know if y'all know this, but I have a certain way of promoting. You know what I'm saying? Like, you almost rarely ever hear me talk about something on the way. You know what I'm saying? By the time you hear me discussing it, that's because it's almost complete. But you don't see me doing like 3 or 6 months in advance. Yeah. July 29th, we're going to release whatever. I don't do that. I'll wait until it's out. And then I'll be like, yo, this is right here. Or yo, in 2 days. Because if I'm promoting it 3-4 days out, that's because I already sent it to the publisher. Yeah, this is already in the pipeline. So yeah, at some point it'll pop up. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not a window shopper. I don't introduce window shopping. But there's a bunch of stuff that we got in the pipeline. Me and Will be getting busy 2026. Well, we're working on this cookbook, and this cookbook is going to be legendary. It's going to have vegan dishes and entrees, as well as chicken, fish, lamb. It is going to be, it's going to be based on his expertise working with celebrities, athletes. So you'll have stuff in there that's for all the time, holiday time, you know, pre-workout or pre-game, post-workout, post-game recovery stuff. Like, it's going to be crazy. And of course, the kitchen chemistry is going to be stupid. The kitchen chemistry is going to be stupid. Nah, I can't add your recipes, but me and you might be able to just do a cookbook together. Maybe me and you do a cookbook. Yeah. And doing a cookbook is way more difficult than just recipes. It's a lot that goes into a cookbook. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've done some recipe books back in the days. I've done a few recipe books, but a cookbook and a recipe book is very different. It is very different, even though it may look similar because a recipe book got the recipes, a cookbook got the recipes. It is very different. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, so we're going to do this. We're going to have these vegan fake meat conversations coming up. And we have a few things coming up. So Harwin, I see you done tapped in. Harwin, I think me and Harwin is going live on Wednesday. I think Wednesday is going to be our first show, right? And Harwin got a wild schedule. I got a wild schedule, so I don't know. We may go live early so that we got Friday locked in with Mr. Lungs. That's 10 a.m. So I might have to do something early with Harwin as well, right? So if y'all don't see it, y'all just catch it on the replay and take advantage that I've been so busy. I haven't been able to delete all of the videos from YouTube and put it onto Patreon. So just know that's happening soon too. You're going to wake up one day, the videos will be missing. They'll be on Patreon. These recipes all look crazy.
Yeah. And I'm definitely grateful to collab with Ink. Like, he's been, sort of like a silent mentor, kind of like, guiding me through a lot of these different processes, and, me reaching out to him. What do you think about this? What do you think about that? So that's just a testament to, a lot of information that, I gathered from him and other people.
Lamar, don't take my word for it. Scholar, Society Baby, Dead Stop, Madman, Jeremiah.
Thanks to the whole chat.
It's not just kitchen chemistry. You gotta add chemistry in the kitchen. And well cooking. Yeah. Osborne, Osborne, Politic, Kev, Brian, Amber, on your speaker. Peyton, Andrew, you know the life. Kyle D, Long Beach Nights, on Christ. Nobody else is this nice. So good it's almost a vibe. So good it's almost a vibe. So good it's almost a vibe. I've been nice like nobody else. Right in the fear, look, Paul top shelf. It's nothing new, you can tell me. I live off love, shout out to Helvy. I believe in God, it's really natchez. 20 years later, we're Philly natchez. 100 packs popping, studying detoxing. Live me on YouTube, new books dropping. We yelling, add your game, 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 add your game. Osborne, M4, Politica, Kev, I'm your speaker. Peyton, Andrew, you know the life. Kyle D, Lauren P. Snipes, on Christ. Nobody else is this nice. So good it's almost a vibe. So good it's almost a vibe. Z still with us. Munch still with us. Tiff still with us. Hey, this what consistency get us. Golly, I'm in Robert, Cardi, Hot One. We stylin'. It feel good to see Jamal Allen. Do it, Rashawn. Let me feel like LeBron. Hey, I'm telling you, chat, that's the topic. I seen the life fiber optic. Levin has got it. It's real. I give thanks for tuning in. It's soon to win. Make sure you're doing him. Oh yeah, make sure you're doing him. Make sure you're doing him. We yelling out your gang, 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 out your gang. Bars, and wet. Well, I I was born M4, politica. Kev, Ride, Amber, your speaker. Peyton and Andrew, you know the life. Cosby, Lauren B. Snipes, on Christ, nobody else is this nice. So good it's almost a vice. So good it's almost a vice. Mark Hill and Jalen's, family, friends, they wanna see me make ends. Help me drop a bestseller, recognized as a trendsetter. Through the stormy weather, still applying pressure. Blue magic netches, my bitter netches, my monthly detox getters. It's about waves we flowing. You already know where we going. Double back 100 packs from the ocean. They potent. Push up, peak, calisthenic cow. 60 and 60, getting busy. We got YouTube in a frenzy with no views. Me and my old crew in syndication. Off information, your veterans, veteran. Second season of medicine, time to talk bread again. Boom. Bars. Wham. Osborne, M4, Paul and Tika, yeah, Kev, Ride, Amber, I'm your speak, Peyton and Andrew, you know the life, Cosby, Lauren B. Snipes, on Christ, nobody else is this nice. Say, so good it's almost a vibe. Say, so good it's almost a vibe.
Let's go, man. You already know this for the family, man. Listen, and this is not for the Patreon family. Okay, this is not for the Patreon family. This is not for the book family. This is just a video for the live chat. All right, for the live chat. And I know for a certain fact that I done missed somebody's name, or I got your name, but I just couldn't fit it into a bar. You know what I'm saying? So don't think I forgot about you. You know what I'm saying? If you're not in the bar, Mike, it's not possible for me to miss Mike Carter, right? High Frequency TV, Inner Beauty, Steve, Regina, Smacknificent, Tyrese. You know what I'm saying? So it just, Bayat, Derek, DA, you know what I'm saying? Like, the whole Hotepistan. Jack, a.k.a. Viking Hotep. Jack, I almost forgot. Jack, I was trying to find what Viking Hotep. Anyway, moving forward. Supreme, 77 figures. Sam, Sauce, Ears to the Street. You know what I'm saying? King Lemuel. You know what I'm saying? Just the people that get in the chat. You know what I'm saying? This is really just for the chat. This is for the chat family. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my guy from Philly who likes to, you know what I'm saying, Black Hand and all, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah. So this is just for the chat. Because the chat feeds the energy that we need to keep teaching. So everybody owes the people that come into the chat a thank you. The Patreon family, the book family, the product family, we have different families, but everybody, we feed off the energy from the chat. So we gotta thank the chat. You know what I'm saying? Even if you haven't sent in a super chat, just saying, you need to send a super chat. You need to hit that super chat or the Cash App or something. But even if you've never done any of that, but you show up into the chat and you just keep the chat going. I appreciate you. We appreciate you. My kids appreciate you. The Patreon people that never show up in the chat because they're too busy in their life, but they support on the back end and they watch all the videos on replay. They appreciate you because you help me to do what it is I do. So, I just wanted to thank everybody that shows up in the chat. You know what I'm saying? Inner Beauty, you know what I mean? And everybody who shows up in the chat, you know what I'm saying? So if I missed your name, I apologize. But we definitely appreciate you. And you may need to show up in the chat more often.